Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. It's not about the food. It's not about the drink. It's not even about the exercise and activity or lack of it. If you are a certified hypnotist or anyone who assists others in bringing out their healthiest selves possible, it is not about what they're consuming. And it's not about how they're moving. Those are all symptoms. They're effects. And if you don't know how to get to the cause, then whenever they use your product, program, or service, they will get very limited results, if any at all. They're going to think it's them, which just then piles onto the shame of nothing works for me. And they wind up going to the next coach, the next book, the next diet, the next program, the next hypnotist, and they're not going to get any results there either. As a hypnotist, this can be one of your biggest draws in your audience, but you're not going to do them any good if all you're doing is utilizing hypnosis for behavioral modification, because while that will get them into exercise and making healthier choices, it's not going to treat the fact that they've been compensating for something they think they can't have. That's the reason why the weight is there. They are trying to make up for something they don't believe is available for them. Safety and security, if everything is going to be all right. Love for who they are, no matter what their size is. Validation, attention in a healthy way. They don't think any of these things are available. And so the weight is actually helping them cope in life. And when you take away the weight without treating the reason why it's there, it's just going to wind up causing more pain. Okay, who am I to share all of this with you? By the way, whether you join me live or you're catching this on the replay, and you have any questions, I'm going to be monitoring this masterclass on social media for the first few days. So you can put a Q with your question, and I'll do my best to address it. But probably the easiest way would be to call me direct, 636-699-7791. So whether you're a coach, you're a hypnotist, maybe this is something that you're dealing with all on your own. Let me give you a tip, tool, or technique that you can utilize to bring yourself out at your best. So not only are you phenomenal, but the world around you is blessed because of your brilliance and your beauty. And when I say your beauty, it has nothing to do with the size. It has nothing to do with the shape. Beauty simply is the external expression of inner harmony. It's all parts are pulling together to reveal you at fuller expression, more life, enjoying it, what you want to experience. Okay, so who am I to share all of this with you? Dawn Ferguson. I am a certified hypnotherapist through the National Guild of Hypnotists. Been doing that for 15 years now. I'm also a certified instructor. I train others to become hypnotists. Been doing that for probably 12 or 13 years. I am also a rapid results coach. I've had additional training in areas of specialty and expertise to get people from moving from where they are to where they want to be as quick as possible. And that's what I want to share with you today. So whatever you do to assist others, or maybe you're just assisting yourself, I want to make sure that you have the foundation that you need to begin to move up your pyramid of progress. And to do that, the very first thing that I want to share with you is that pyramid of progress. It's what I teach all of our students in. And, actually, so we can see that a little bit better, I'm going to move the title of what we're talking about today out of the way. Okay. Habit and structure. It's not enough just to take actions and deal with them. Behavioral modification. Although there are a lot of hypnotists that will do this. I'm just checking over here. If you see me looking over to the side, I'm checking to make sure that I don't have any comments or questions at this point. Okay, and we're good. I'm pretty sure. But if you're here live, feel free to ask me questions. Okay, so a lot of hypnotists, as well as traditional therapy, is going to deal with the physical level. And that's going to be behavioral modification. And we have 3 types of behaviors. We have tension relieving, where we can let go of the stress of the day. But if we have too much tension relieving, it moves into tension avoiding. There's something that we don't want to deal with simply because we don't have the competency to deal with it. And why don't we have the competency? Is because somewhere along the line, we believed that we couldn't have it. Whatever it was that we craved, we couldn't have it. So we had to overcompensate. And that overcompensation was to make it okay for others because, if we were hurting, well, we didn't want them to hurt. So we're overcompensating for others. We're not taking care of ourselves. And now we have tension avoiding instead of tension relieving. Pleasure producing. Pleasure producing is when we engage in activities that have us feel good right away. It is all right to indulge in that dessert and those snacks that you enjoy. It's okay to veg out in front of the couch or on the couch in front of the TV watching your favorite program. But if the pleasure producing goes past the point that we're no longer getting pleasure out of it, yeah, you guessed it, it moves into tension avoiding, which is going to be that dysfunction. And then we have goal achieving. And here's where the biggest misnomer comes in. A lot of people think that goal achieving, because we're going after our dreams and we're turning them into reality, is going to feel fabulous. No, it's not. In fact, your subconscious mind, which runs all of your habits and patterns, this is the realm of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind always looks to take shortcuts. It's what's known as heuristics. I'll give you an example of a heuristic. You were around 2 or 3 when you learned to open a door. You reached up at a certain height and you jiggled whatever was there, pushed or pulled, you gained your freedom. Okay, well, after that, every time you came across a door where maybe the doorknob was different or maybe there wasn't a knob, it was actually going into a retail center and it had a bar across it at a certain area or a handle on the side. Your subconscious mind didn't have to sit there and ponder how to make this happen. It automatically applied the knowledge that it had already experienced within 1,000th of 1 second. Faster than what you can blink. And bam, you were in, you were out, you were moving the way you wanted to. So the subconscious mind always looks for shortcuts. It wants to say, how quick can we move through these things? Well, when you're in goal achieving, you're having to master a new skill set for competency, but it's more than that. It's 2 other levels. It is emotional optimization and it's focus for fulfillment. It doesn't like doing those. So it's going, can't we go back to our old way of doing things? Can't we just, the way that we were coping that had us feel good, even for a short period of time, and then had us into avoidance. Can't we just go back to that? See, the subconscious mind seeks out what some people call the comfort zone, but there's nothing comfortable about carrying around way too much weight and knowing that it is holding you back from what you want to experience in life. But again, remember, it's that protection, so it doesn't want to let it go. So it's not that it's comfortable, it's familiar. And so the subconscious mind seeks out what is familiar. And when you go into goal achieving, when you go to the growth zone, you have to go through the terror barrier first. And the terror barrier is where your subconscious mind is going to throw all sorts of blocks in your way. And you have to continually use them as stepping stones to go up to your next level. I had a client that I was supposed to meet with last night. She sent me a text and she's like, I'm in the emergency room. I'm sick. Can't make it. She goes, this is one of the things I want to talk to you about. Well, she had already set the appointment with me. It was no surprise that something came up, that it was her subconscious mind saying, let's go back to what's familiar. Let's throw a stumbling block in our way. Even though it's uncomfortable staying stuck and struggling, it's what we know. And so I am going to use whatever I can to keep you from moving forward. How long will that last? Well, approximately 91 days. Sometimes it's quicker. Whenever I help someone become a healthy non-smoker, it's one session. But I know it's going to take a full 91 days before their subconscious mind is satisfied that they'll no longer be triggered, which is the reason why, hypnotist, you have to discover what is going to trigger your client. And you need to give them an authoritative post-hypnotic suggestion. A transfer of authority, a transfer of power, where they are going to take control over the situation. And I'm going to tell you right now, you may think that it's food or drink that's triggering them, and it is not. It is what is their wound. That is what's going to trigger them to go back to that comfort zone of the layer of protection of their weight. Okay. So that's the physical level. And a lot of hypnotists will only deal with that level. Hey, you can have great success that way. But for me, and whenever I train another hypnotist, whenever I certify someone as a WLS hypnotist, weight loss solution hypnotist, when I have my private clients, it is not enough for me to address one area of their life. That is way too low of a standard for me. What I want them to experience is I want them to experience an identity upgrade. Because this is just like tossing stones into a pond. It ripples out and it's going to touch every single area of their life. And it is about time that we started demanding more of our coaches and say, if I'm going to come to you for an area, I want to know how it is going to impact everything. It's what's known as the 5 to thrive, the 5 areas of our life that we're always looking to improve at any time. And by the way, for those of you who have joined me, if you have any questions on this, because I know I'm going fast and it's kind of in depth, but then again, it's probably also resonating with you because there's a part of you that already understood this. You didn't have, though, a process, a system, or a blueprint to put it into, which is what I'm doing for you right now. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type them out. I believe I can see them on my screen. Ooh. Okay, so it's time we started demanding more. And how do we do that? The physical is the lowest level. The physical shows up because there's been an emotion that triggered it. Oh, wait, I was going to tell you about the 5 to thrive. Okay, so the 5 to thrive are the 5 areas of our life that we're looking to improve at any given point in our life. So it is going to be our wealth. And no, I'm not talking about a yacht in a harbor, although that's okay too. Invite me out, wouldn't you? But our wealth, that we know we can create whatever we want whenever we want it. So if something happens in our life and we feel like we've experienced a loss, we are empowered in a way that we can create something similar to then fill the void of the loss. So that's wealth. That's true prosperity, being able to turn on what you want when you want it. Then after that, we have our health, because our health cannot take place unless we've experienced the ability to be in command of our physical environment, which is the reason why hypnotists, if you've joined me, I've told you need to give an authoritative post-hypnotic that whenever the client feels like something's coming along and it is trying to steal away their focus, their feelings, and their actions, that you have given them a tool to be back in control. Okay, so health comes about because we know that we can create what we want when we want it, and now we make it about us. We internalize it. After that, we have our relationships, and our relationships are going to be a reflection of the wealth that we know that we can create, and then we've internalized it to bring ourselves out at our best. Jim Rohn, phenomenal teacher, said we are the sum total of the 5 people we spend the most time with. Well, then there's a lot of people going, have you seen the ones that I'm surrounded with at work? So I'm going to upgrade that, and I'm going to say we are the sum total of the 5 people that we're in resonance with. So you can be surrounded by people who are negative and have challenges and not have it affect you. You do not have to catch their emotions. And why? Because you know that you are in control of whatever you put into your body. That's health. And that then you create the environment, that's wealth, that is going to support everybody at being their best. Whether they step into it or not, it's going to be up to them. After that, you have your career. Your career is a showcase of your strengths, talents, and abilities from the 3 previous levels. I don't have a career, I have a calling. My calling is to take all the crap I've been through in life and learn how to turn it into fertilizer for your garden of growth. And you're here to do the same thing. Okay. And then the last is untapped potential. What's the next area of your life that you want to discover? What is it? Travel? Is it a hobby? Is it some upgraded relationships? What do you want to experience? Okay. Whenever you work with any type of coach, any type of mentor, any type of leader, I'm going to challenge that whatever they assist you with, they should be assisting you with all levels. Yeah, you came to them for one specific area, but they should have a mastery to where they then show you how it ripples out to all areas. So what I went over with on the physical, knowing that you're already engaging in tension avoiding and that the subconscious mind is trying to keep you from goal achieving, how can you now keep focused until you get what it is that you want, which is the identity upgrade in 91 days, and you will not settle for anything less than the best life has to offer for you? How will that improve those areas of your life? Okay, now let's go into the emotional level, because all of our actions are triggered by an emotion. It is our subconscious mind that runs all of our habits and patterns. For your subconscious mind to be able to run effectively and efficiently, it needs juice. It needs electricity. What does it use? Emotions. And here's where it gets interesting. It doesn't have the capability of judging. Are they positive emotions or are they negative emotions? It just says, feed me, Seymour, feed me. So it will seek out people, places, and things that turn you on. Now, I will say that there are typically 2 emotional states that we'll skip. For men, it can be any type of feeling of sadness, and for women, it can be anger. Sadness simply says that we need to allow ourselves to grieve and that it's all right. Anger simply says a boundary has been violated. We need to understand what are our rules as far as our boundaries, and are those rules effective or are they restrictive? And do we keep the rule or do we need to upgrade the value that was just violated? Either way, whether it's the loss or the anger, it simply means something that was close to us, something that we did value is no longer present. And we need to be able to process that. And we do that with what's known as the pain-pleasure principle. And the pain-pleasure principle says that everything is created as a whole. It's not just one side or the other. It is created complete. It's also known as the law of polarity. You're seeing me right now on the front side, but you also know I have a backside, right? And the reason why you know it is because you've experienced people's backsides. Enough said about that. But you know that when you see them coming towards you on the street, if you were to turn and look after they had passed you, you would see their backside. Well, it's the same way in life. The law of polarity says that everything is created as a whole. Good, bad, positive, negative, in, out, up, down. The challenge can be is that we didn't have enough experiences on what could be considered the progress side, that we got stuck over on the pain side. Remember, I said at the very beginning of this training that the reason why somebody is having a challenge with their weight is that weight is compensating for something that they think they can't have in life, whatever it might be. They were wounded. They only saw the pain, not the progress. And this is the reason why we have to give them the tools, but we also need to basically be there to support them while they begin to explore what's out there and on the other side. Because the terror barrier, this is when the subconscious mind shows up and says, oh no, you can't go any further. There be dragons out there. And it's going to try to keep them stuck on the pain side. It is not enough to go, oh, so tell me, how will life be so wonderful now that you've let go of this unwanted, unneeded extra weight? That's not enough. It's going to be, what are you going to be revealing about you that this weight has been covering up? And where does that get kind of scary? What are you afraid might happen? Let's go ahead and future pace the challenges that might be there and see what we can do to put together a plan to assist you before they show up. But that they will show up, you're going to feel like the rug's been pulled out from underneath you, and that's okay, because we can take what you've discovered about yourself and begin to understand what it's pointing to on that polarity. And I'm going to show you in just a moment what I mean on that. It's what's known as the core four. And then the very last area is going to be our thoughts and our beliefs. You hear people say, change your thoughts and your life will change. No, they won't. You've already tried it. It hasn't worked. We have 40 to 60,000 thoughts every single day. Take out 8 hours of sleep. That basically leaves a thought per second. Okay, you're changing them an awful lot already. So it's not changing your thoughts. It's the beliefs that are the foundation under those thoughts. And beliefs are simply something that you've accepted as the truth, whether it was or not. Because let's go all the way back to the fact that you've made up a story about something you can't have because when you were younger, it wasn't available to you, which meant that you decided to overcompensate for others so that they wouldn't feel bad. And that overcompensation now has left you to giving yourself away so that when it comes time to your wealth, your health, you have nothing left for you. Or if it is, it's very minimal and it's not enough to carry you through the 91 days until you move out of the terror barrier into the growth zone and you start designing your life your way. And these truths were accepted through a wound. There was some sort of emotional wound, typically before age 8. And it could have been through something traumatic. Keep in mind, a kid getting hollered at by their favorite teacher is traumatic. Don't try to downplay it and go, well, I shouldn't feel like that way anymore. Because it's not you. It's that younger you that is still wounded. So, okay. We have to look at what I call the 4 R's: reveal, release, relearn, rejoice. It's what I train all of my CHs in. Reveal. We have to reveal the part of them that holds the wound. Release. We no longer allow that part to get triggered. Instead, that younger them, whether they experienced it through trauma, whatever was missing in their life, or what's known as spaced repetition, where it happens again and again, we release it from getting triggered. Relearn. Now, relearn is two-pronged. Relearn says, hey, the younger part of you that is using your health to cope in life, but it's doing it in a dysfunctional way, we say, what were you phenomenal at? What are you absolutely incredible at? And that younger you, well, it gets to go do that. And then the aspect of your personality that's been lying dormant, that's on the law of polarity, it's on the other side. It is pleasure producing for you because it seeks more life through growth instead of more life through decay, which is when your backside gets bigger. That part of you that hasn't had room to come out now gets to show up. And then rejoice is a plan of action that we put together for you to continue to reinforce these behaviors, these emotions, and these upgraded beliefs. All right. So now I'm going to move into what is your client's identity? And so you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to take out the pyramid. So this is the core 4 that I was talking about. Hang on just a second. This is the core 4 to where it's the pain pleasure principle. It is also known as the law of polarity. And it says we have 4 basic aspects to our personality. And we always start out on the left-hand side. The left-hand side is our development, and the right-hand side is our maturity. It is our competency. So left-hand side safety. I mean, if you think of a little kid, they got to be dependent upon people, places, and things to make them okay, right? But at some level, they begin to develop security. Security says, if it is to be, it is up to me. I will learn how to dress myself. I will learn how to feed myself. I will learn how to operate that doorknob. Remember, subconscious heuristics. And gain my freedom. And then after our child has experienced a level of freedom, then they pop up to the next level. And they always start out on the left-hand side because that's all about mastering their body. But now we need to begin to master our emotions. And how do we do that? We always start out with drama, crisis, chaos. Think of teenagers. Okay. But all of that comes about because it's pointing us to the other side that we have freedom of choices. Yeah, we are ticked off. Are we going to use it to lash out at somebody else? You know, I did that just last night. Not saying it was really healthy and functional. I had to then, after I lashed out, say, okay, what was it that I valued, that I felt like they took away? And what are better boundaries I can draw around it? That anger was simply letting me know that I either needed to upgrade the value or I needed to upgrade the rules. And it was simply the rules. Okay, so we have freedom of choices of how we want to experience our emotional states. Then after that, we pop up to importance. And importance simply says that, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm getting attention for what I can do. Nothing wrong with that. But that intention, that importance should then be funneled into significance. Look how I can assist others by what it is that I'm doing. And then finally, after that, the final level, the fourth level, the connection. This is not something that we do. This is something someone does to us because they're starting to get their inferiority is beginning to get triggered by the fact that our client is secure. They have freedom of choices. They are significant. And that's when they come along and go, getting a little bit big for your britches, aren't you? Who do you think you are? You think you're better than everybody else. And that's when our clients learn to hold themselves back so others won't feel bad. What they really want is love. That's what's on the other side of it. But they're willing to dumb themselves down so they can get what they'll have to settle for, which are the crumbs of connection. All right, what does all of this have to do with our weight reduction client? They're stuck over on the left-hand side somewhere. They're looking for one diet and one coach and one nutritional plan after another, safety, because they felt like whenever they tried to make their life okay, somebody took it away from them. Again, it was something that happened, and they made it mean that they couldn't have this in life, or drama. They were never given choices of how they wanted to experience life. So what happens with that? They got a black cloud following them everywhere. As soon as they step out, life begins to fall apart. As soon as they say, I'm going to do this, something shows up that says, no, you can't. That's where that subconscious terror barrier comes in at. That was going to happen anyway, but the subconscious mind has made them super sensitive and says, you can't move forward. Importance. If they're stuck over in importance, they are the martyr, where, oh, look at what I have to sacrifice to make everybody okay. I had one woman on the weight reduction journey to where she had to fix different meals for her significant other as well as her teenagers because nobody wanted to eat how she was eating healthy. That's the importance level. It can also show up as narcissistic tendencies, not personality disorder. I am not a therapist. I will not help you with that. Narcissistic tendencies are where you get to play the hero. You're going to save everybody else. Doesn't work real well because then you don't have anything left for you. Okay. Or connection. This showed up with another client who had plateaued with her weight. And whenever I did a hypnosis session to discover why, what came out was a younger her. And she's like, Mummy and Sissy. I can't go any further because of Mummy and Sissy. And I'm like, why? What's up with Mummy and Sissy? And she's like, because they're feeling bad because they're not letting go of their weight and I am. So I don't want them to feel bad. See, this happens subconsciously. We don't even know what's going on. So having to deal with being able to still reduce the weight because she loved Mummy and Sissy that much that she was going to invite them to go along with her. And if they didn't, she could still love herself that much because she had learned that she was only lovable if she made it okay for others. All right, so your client's going to be stuck over in one of these areas. Why? And that's when we look at the emotional wound. I'm going to make that bigger. Okay. Abandonment, rejection, unworthiness, and invalidation. Okay. The emotional wound was that core, that trigger. Abandonment. If we have somebody that is dealing with abandonment, they won't see the process all the way through. And we need to know that. We need to help them identify where they are in this process. So whenever they go to self-sabotage, we've got the plan laid out. Okay, rejection. That won't work. That won't work. Tried that. Yeah, that didn't work either. Okay. We know why they're doing that is because they feel like there needs to be intense emotional states. There's that drama. Okay, we give them the ability to experience those intense emotions, but in a way that is going to be progress. Unworthiness. Oh, look, on unworthiness, it didn't show up where it says significance on the other side. Unworthiness is where they're not good enough. They're right. They're not good enough. They're not good enough at overcompensating and making life okay for other people. They are not good enough. They will never be good enough on how bad things can get. They will always be looking for something else to pile on top of it. It is not their fault. This is how they have been conditioned to experience life. 80% of who we are as an adult, behavioral science tells us, was learned by age 8. Let that one sink in for a while. That's the reason why I said I don't have a career. I have a calling to take all the crap I went through and learn how to package as fertilizer for your garden of growth. You're supposed to be doing the same thing. Okay. And then invalidation. Invalidation is this is the beginning levels of leadership, but this is where we're going to take a poll, or our clients take a poll. What do you think about this? Is this okay? Should I do this? Oh my gosh, what about that? And we need them loving themselves, and that's the validation that they're supposed to be looking for. Oh boy, we've covered a lot. So what your weight reduction clients wish you knew. It's not about the weight. It is about their conditioning around their identity and how they are using food and liquid and the lack of physical activity, as well as their weight, as ways to protect themselves from the fact that they can't have, or they think they can't have, what they needed to reveal who they really are. It is up to you to begin to use your skill set now to assist them with this. If this has made sense to you and you're like, yeah, but, and oh, by the way, there's a fourth area of this that I'm not even getting into at this point, because you really do need to be certified to understand some of those things. It is not just to be put out for general consumption. Okay, so if you're going, yes, this makes sense, I want assistance with this. If you're already a hypnotist, I'll train you to become a weight loss solution coach, a weight loss solution hypnotist. I'll train you in the complete 4-part system. If you're not a hypnotist and this is beginning to sound intriguing, well, maybe we should talk about how I can assist you. Maybe you want to become certified as a hypnotist. Maybe you just want to see what it is that you might need to use in the capacity you have now. Right now, I am training a psychologist. I train doctors, I train nurses, I train psychologists, I train therapists, and then I train people just like me. I'm a lay person. Everything I just shared with you is from the experience of all the different trainings I've had. I want to package it to make it a heuristic for you, because the subconscious mind always says, how simple can we make it? So if you're going, yeah, okay, I want information on that, or maybe if you're just saying, this makes sense, and I need to become healthier myself, as well as improve all areas of the 5 to Thrive, well, then call me, okay? 636-699-7791. It's that simple. Okay, now let's wrap up with your plan of action. Your plan of action, because the subconscious mind, again, always seeks the path of least resistance. And if you've just taken in a whole hoop and bunch of information, it will stay just things that you've memorized, not wisdom that you actually use, if you don't tell the subconscious how to categorize it. So for your plan of action, number one, you want to be looking at your identity upgrade, not just the physical, but as well as the emotional and the mental. And so on the physical, we need to have post-hypnotic suggestions that are going to be able to help us gain mastery whenever we get triggered. For the emotional, that's when we want to be looking at what's your identity. Remember the law of polarity, or what's your client's identity? What side are they stuck on? What do they need to move into? And then what's those beliefs? What's the truth that they've accepted about themselves? And that's when we're going to be looking at the emotional wound. Abandonment, rejection, unworthiness, and invalidation. You need to be assisting them with the area that holds that core wound, because that's their poverty that will lead to their prosperity. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me today. And again, if you have any questions or comments, reach out to me, 636-699-7791. And remember, what your weight reduction clients wish you knew is that it is not about the weight. Thanks so much. Go out and use your brilliance now to make the world a better place. Bye now.